pimps? It's April 18th, Monday, and we just had a hell of a trading day. We're gonna look at SPY. First things first, we got SPY. SPY didn't do a lot today. It kind of did, but ended up basically flat on the day. We opened on a rip. We ripped on up here to 439, bounced off of that, ripped back up there, and sold off. And then we got a big rip up there. We ripped all the way up here, basically double tapped off of 440, 439.75. This 5 minute 200 EMA, we tapped off of that twice, and once we rejected that, we rejected the key level here at 439 and just got a big old dump all the way down. All the way down to 435.60, where we bounced off of that hard. We got a huge bounce there hard at the end of the day. I'm not sure what caused any of the selling or why we ripped into the close. I know Bullard, the guy from the Fed, was talking today, and he didn't say some very friendly things about inflation like he tends to do, and just said we're going to have to be aggressive here at the Fed. So I'm not sure what caused that rip, but after we closed, we kept ripping, and as of right now, we're at about 439. So SPY's up about 0.3% right now in the futures. We had a big rip right at close. Yeah, we're up about 0.25% right now in the futures on SPY. So yeah, just an interesting day today with the price action. It would have been a scalper's dream because we had to move from 435 all the way up to 439 and then all the way back down to 435 and then all the way back up to 438. So I only caught one of the moves today, that first initial bounce, or second bounce, I guess, today, but just weird price action, very weird, very indecisive on the daily chart. This volume we had was really crazy low today, which is interesting. I mean, it was crazy low on Wednesday of last week, yeah, when we had a nice big green day, but then today, I mean, Wednesday of last week was 74 million shares traded. Today was 66 million, so a pretty notable drop in action on the in terms of volume. So not too sure about that on SPY. I do not understand what is going on. What is that? There we go. So tomorrow I will be watching for. It depends. All depends where we what we open at. If we open sideways, I'm gonna watch for a move below 435.61. That was a strong support that we bounced hard off of it twice and almost formed basically a double bottom. But it's not a double bottom if we can't break past 439.70. So basically break into 440. So need to open right there at like 439. That would be nice. I don't want to have a huge gap up. I'm immediately bearish when we have a huge gap up because there's so much momentum to the downside that if we get a gap up, there's just going to be a flood of sellers going in to fill the gap. So open at 439. If we gap up a little bit, might go down, fill the gap back down at 437. If we just gap way up above 439 and break through 440, that would be huge. Want to see the 30-minute 50-day simple moving average is also right there at 440. So 440 is huge right now if we can break that. But we have to actually break it. I have to actually hold a candle above it. You can see here, this entire pullback, if you just shorted every time, boom, that red line, short every time SPY wicks up and breaks that 50-day simple moving average on the 30-minute chart, you could have shorted it 1, 2, 3, 4 times now. And that level's so money. It just like wicks up to it and bounces hard. Wicks up, bounces hard. So 440 is huge, psych level, and now that 50-day simple moving average is right on it. It's right there at 440. So gonna be watching for a break there. If we break that, I expect we go up to 444, and a break of that would be huge because then we have a gap right above that. So that's what I'm looking at for SPY. But if we can't hold 435.61, I expect we'll see 430 in the near future, because that would just be us bouncing off of resistance yet again, which I can extend to the right and show you where resistance is. So we have broken out of resistance 3 times now, but they've all but 3 been fake outs. It's gone straight back down, and back down, back down. So have to see a big break above that resistance trend line that we have. See if I can clean up the chart. I don't know why it's such a mess. So yeah, if we can break 440, 444 shortly after, most likely. Point of control's at 442, so that'll be the next key level after that. And wow, would you look at that? There's that 200-day simple moving average sitting right there. Funny how that happens, these fib levels. It's sitting right there on that key level, literally to the cent. Just beautiful. Wow. Let me see if I can actually get to show it. Yeah, it is. So that's pretty huge right there. If we can break, and then you can look at the 15-minute, same thing, that 200-day exponential moving average up there on the 5-minute. That's what was resistance actually today on the 5-minute, was that 200 EMA, and it's been resistance for these past couple trading sessions. And the break of that would also be at 439-ish to 440. So if we see strength around there in SPY and that's not immediately sold off, I will be pretty bullish on SPY, and that would kind of, it would be a breakout, but need to see actual strength into the breakout, not just a little juke and then dump back under into the channel. Let's look at NASDAQ, nasty DAC. Here we go. NASDAQ, what a beautiful, look at here, intraday head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders, shoulder 1, head right there, shoulder over here. That is, I mean, it's pretty perfect. It's honestly like a textbook inverse head and shoulders. It's only intraday, so it's not like a big micro, or a macro, huge, like month-long inverse head and shoulders, but still pretty notable, and it kind of is. So now we have to see if it breaks the neckline up here at, and this neckline is just stacked right on top of so many key levels. So we have the 200 EMA up here, so basically 341 is what we have to see broken on this inverse head and shoulders, and then actually push past that to get the fulfilled inverse head and shoulders, which is, for those who don't know, very bullish. When you're in a downtrend and you get that inverse head and shoulders, that's a super duper strong reversal trend. So that's what we saw today on the NASDAQ. Also choppy as shit today, just like the SPY. It made a newer low in this pullback at 335.79, so that's notable. Just have to see 341 broken. As of now, the futures, it's right at 340, so if we can open at 340, probably go to the gap fill below. I'm just begging they don't. I know the market makers, they love to do this kind of shit. They'll give us a gap up and just pull it down into the gap, and then everyone sees the gap fill to the downside, and it causes panic and more selling. So I don't want to see a fat gap. I'd rather see a strong open and just a strong push in the 341 during the day, not overnight from a stupid gap. So let me mark out some resistance here. So the main resistance line is still way up there, but as of right now, we have resistance right there. So we're still, now we got a new channel here. So got to see, yeah, but 341. That's really all I'm seeing. I'm not seeing much else of a pattern. If we can't hold 337 or 338, yeah, 337.80. If we can't hold that, I expect that will fail. That'll mean the inverse head and shoulders has failed, and we'll probably head down for 336. If we can't hold that, then it's likely gonna take us down to, let's see what next key level we have here on the Fibonacci. Yeah, we'll probably see 331 shortly after that. Tesla earnings on 420, of course, because memes, so that's a notable tech earnings. I think it's supposed to be good, but you never know with Tesla. So that's just something to watch out for. Um, yeah, that's about that for NASDAQ. If we can break 341, which, oh, look at that. It's right at the top of that channel, too. So break that. Next level after that will be, let's have a look, see. 341, next level after that will be 341.50. And then 353, point of control right there, which is also where that gap is starting to fill. So if we can go up and fill that tiny little gap right there at 353, I mean, this is a long ways away, but this is just what I'm looking at for the future. Then we'll be looking pretty good. And then 348 as well. So a lot of key levels. Nasdaq's basically right at support. It's been at support. It's been breaking down through support. So every day it's at support, and unless it bounces off, then it's still going to be at support. At support as in here at 335 on the downside, but also close to resistance, just the resistance line that this channel has been. So next, let's take a look at BABA. Let's look at BABA. So BABA, I saw something interesting. I threw up some Fibonacci levels, and we got, look at that. That gap is right there at the 27.2 fib level. How the hell? Fib levels are just so, they're so perfect. So BABA just been climbing the stairs, more like falling down the stairs, like old Nan took a tumble down the stairs. That's what BABA's looking like right now. It broke through 199 basically, and has been tumbling ever since. So to the downside, we have 87.23 is the next key level, and that next key level on the fib just so happens to be a big fat gap, which there are two gaps. We got the double gapper here on BABA. So a gap all the way from $87 or 87.23 all the way down to 77. So if we even get close to that, I'm thinking about a pretty good short play right there. I mean, Bob is kind of crazy. I wouldn't hold anything overnight because any random news from their dictator could spike it overnight. But if we, to the upside, if we can break $99 and then obviously $100, that would be bullish. There is a gap to fill, tiny little gap at 99.28 up to about 100. That's really the only gap. There isn't a gap above that. Well, actually, no, there's two gaps up there. So it has a lot of room to the upside to move because it's been getting so hammered these past few days. On the 4 hour, it's officially hit oversold on the 4 hour. On the daily, it's still not oversold, so I'm not convinced that it's done selling off yet. That's one thing I've learned is when you think Bob is done tumbling, it'll keep going. Look at these other levels. Yeah, it's just way far away from all these indicators. Like, it hasn't even been close to the 50-day simple moving average on the 30-minute chart in a long time. So upside, I'm not convinced of anything until I see a clean break of 99 and up past 100, and we can see some climbing back up from there. Otherwise, we have to climb up, break, at the very least, gotta break 130 to actually give us a higher high, so we can say we got a higher low and a higher high on BABA and actually be in an uptrend. Let's look at NVIDIA. So NVIDIA, we had a nice strong bounce off of a 3-month support here at about 210. I mean, this has been support since about January 20th, so a good strong bounce here is a very good sign for NVIDIA. It's right up against resistance on this trend line. It doesn't have, yeah, it has a gap to fill the upside, right above 227. Otherwise, just the chart just looks terrible. Like, it's a ugly chart. There's no setups there jumping out at me. It's not like in a channel. It just is doing its own thing because semis just get sold off so hard. Yeah, I'm not even sure. Like, I guess key level I could draw out right here. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. So got to break 228, which just so happens to be above that gap. So just got to fill the gap to the upside and actually see that hold, and then next level up past that is about 244 for NVIDIA. Obviously to the downside, if we can't hold 210, then 206, which is the absolute bottom of the price in this pullback, then I expect we will see a lot of downside on NVIDIA. But we had a solid bounce today. Even though the Nasdaq was barely even green, semis were mega green today, and it went up like another full 1.5%, damn near, in after hours. So really strong bounce for semis. And looking at the semi index SMH, you can see it also bounced really hard off of its old support here back from March 14th. So a very strong bounce there, very good sign. We don't, or I think ASML has earnings tomorrow, but yeah, just need to see a stronger bounce from semis. We did break out of this channel we were in, broke out and then pulled back, but now we're pushing back up. So let's see here. So I'd probably say next key level you gotta see is 250 on the semiconductor index, which is just a ways up there. It does not have any gaps to fill, but yeah, that's about it for semis. Also, just not a setup. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything on the hourly chart. Oh, what was I gonna look at? Oh yeah, Facebook. Facebook was looking pretty decent today. Sort of decent, kind of. I say decent because we had a nice bounce off the support level back here from back when we initially rallied in March, late March here, March 21st. Got support back here at 208, and would you believe it? We bounced right off of that. We had a strong bounce off of that, and we bounced up past this key level right here at 211. Rejected that pretty hard, and then towards the end of the day, so we're right at this trend line. We barely broke it and closed this candle above the trend line. So super bullish look right there. Just taking a look at just this. I mean, it's all depending on the rest of the market, but I would be bullish on Facebook right now with the breakout that it's had. Considering that it rejected hard off of that, but then we got this big green hammer candle on the hourly. That's a super bullish candle right there. It also had a kind of just an intraday head and shoulders here, just like the Nasdaq. You got your shoulder, head, shoulder on the inverse. So yeah, that's pretty nice. I'm super bullish on Facebook right now, just based off of this setup and nothing else. 211.19 is the key level to break. If we can break and hold that, I want to see. Let's have a look. So yeah, if we can break and hold that, we need to see 217 next to the upside. And that just so happens to also be the 50 SMA here. So yeah, that's Facebook. If we can't hold 208 or yeah, 208.30, I would expect we see, yeah, it's just a straight shot right down to 200 basically if we can't hold that level. So Facebook hasn't been getting hammered as much as some other tech stocks. It's shown relative strength somewhat with the rest of the Nasdaq. I mean, I guess it's sold off about 10%, kind of like the Nasdaq, but yeah, it could have a rally in the earnings. So if we can break out of this channel tomorrow and actually hold the break, then I expect we see very quick upside on Facebook. 211, then have to break 217. I think that's about all I got today. Yeah. Oh, one last thing I'll show you on SPY. SPY. So everyone's squealing about this. Can I draw? Is there like a... I don't think there is. I could use ovals, that'll work. Yeah, that works. So bam. We got one shoulder there. We got a head right there. And if we can bounce right here, if we can bounce right here on SPY, or even if we pull all the way back to 428 or 429 and bounce off of that, then we'll form our second shoulder on this cheeky potential inverse head and shoulder, which that would be huge for SPY because what caused this whole pullback was the big head and shoulder that we had up here. And everyone saw that, and that was the initial start of our tumble, was when it formed that head and shoulder. So the head and shoulder, inverse head and shoulder, those kind of like super standard, everyone knows about them trends are huge on SPY, especially on these big 4-hour daily charts. They're massive patterns that take months to form. So if we form one, everyone sees it and it usually pans out. So that's what everyone's looking at on SPY. It would be huge if we bounced right here or even came down to 430 and bounced off of that and push past 462 after that. That would probably almost certainly send us to all-time highs on SPY. So that's what I'm watching right now. Just need that second shoulder to form over here within the next couple weeks. And SPY is looking mega bullish if that happens. I don't think the NASDAQ has... Yeah, so actually, if the NASDAQ... Son of a bitch. Whoa, that's actually crazy. So actually, if the NASDAQ bounces right here, even pulls back to like 333 and bounces, that would be a same thing. We'd have our, come on, shoulder right there, head right there, shoulder right there. Boom. Wow. So that's huge. I'm watching out for that. It's all if we make the second shoulder. If we keep tumbling from here, it could throw the whole thing out. But if I was betting man, I would think if we bounce right here, that's going to be super duper mega bullish. We're going to have another crazy impulsive FOMO rally, shoot us back up towards all-time highs. Yeah, so I just wanted to point that out when I'm always squealing about that. Everyone's talking about it. You go on Twitter, everyone's like, oh, potential inverse head and shoulders here on the indexes. Everyone watch out. So, yeah, that's what I'll be watching too. But that's about all I got for today. Well, actually, I'm going to look. Let's see. 419 economic calendar. Oh yeah, so this Neil Kashkari dude talks, pretty sure he's one of the more dovish Fed fellows. And then Mary Daly talks, she's kind of a hawkish, Charles Evans. Yeah, we get all these just Fed people talking the next few days. I can't imagine, like, they just say the same shit every time. We're going to do 50 basis points, inflation's too high, yada yada yada. Big one. The big one. Where is he? There he is, the big one. Fed Chair Jerome Powell speaks on global economy. That's what everyone's watching, so that's the big culprit. Tomorrow, not really seeing anything about, yeah, no kind of news or anything really coming out, I don't think. But Thursday, we got the man himself, Mr. Powell, talking right as market closes, so that's going to be fun. Right as the market closes. Also have leading economic indicators coming out. We got jobless claims coming out. So Thursday's got some potential catalysts. Let's take a look at earnings. Tomorrow earnings. What kind of... Cassava. I thought there was some, God damn. Is there not a way to actually look at the big earnings? I don't care about the little guys. Oh yeah, we have Netflix earnings tomorrow. That's right. Netflix. So that's gonna be interesting. That's after close tomorrow. And then Wednesday, obviously Tesla after close. Equifax also on 420. Oh, ASML is also 420. So that could be a big day for tech. 420. United Airlines. AT&T on Thursday. No, not to it. Snapchat on Thursday too. Alright. Well, that's all I got for everyone. Not too many crazy earnings. Next week's going to be super wild tech earnings. Most of the FANG companies have earnings. So, yeah, not a lot of potential catalysts this week. It could just be a slow-ass, choppy week. Hopefully, I would much rather have chop than more bleeding. So, we'll see what happens. But, yeah, good luck tomorrow. Peace.